Hi, this is Sean from Inglés Nativo, and in this week's video I have a very special guest that has just returned back from England. He's been living, he had lived there for 2 years. He's now returned. His name's Antonio, and I'd like to introduce you. So Antonio, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Antonio, I'm 14, and for the past 2 years I've lived in England.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So why did you live in England?
So for my dad's studies.
Your dad studies, okay,
yes.
So your dad studied in England. What did he do? Was he doing a master's degree, PhD or something?
I think a master's in business.
Okay, master's in business, okay. So you stayed there for 2 years. Where did you stay in England?
I stayed in London.
Oh, you stayed in London. What part of London did you stay?
Central London, St John's Wood.
In central London. And where?
St John's Wood.
St John's Wood,
yes.
Okay, oh, very nice area.
Yes.
Okay, so when you were there, did you attend school? Obviously
yes.
You did, obviously for 2 years.
Yes.
Okay, so what was different about the school there? I mean, was it a big culture shock for you?
Yes, the culture from school culture is very different from both countries. In Brazil, school is much more an informal thing.
Oh, okay.
And here in England, actually, school is a much more formal thing.
Okay.
And students wear bow ties and they wear jeans.
They don't wear jeans. Here in Brazil, they wear jeans.
Wear
in there, what did they wear in England? What sort of clothing did they wear? Did they wear a uniform?
Yeah, we wore a uniform, which
okay.
consisted of a blazer,
okay,
long trousers,
yeah,
pair of shoes,
okay,
and a tie.
And a tie. And a blazer as well. Did you have a
blazer?
blazer?
Yeah, a blazer.
Did you have your logo with
yes,
you on your blazer?
The school logo.
Okay. Do you have any pictures of that?
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in the video, we're going to show you some pictures of him in his school uniform with some friends, I suppose.
I don't think I have any.
No, with the friends, but with you in your school uniform.
Yes.
So
yes.
We'll show you some of the pictures there. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it like in school? I mean, how was your English before you went to Brazil? Before you went to England. So was it quite different?
My English was very different. My English now has a British accent.
You've got a British accent, like me.
Yeah, but before it had an American accent, and because I studied English here in Brazil.
Okay.
And most teachers here teach you the American way to speak English.
Okay.
So I got that accent.
All right. And did everyone at the school think you were American?
They actually thought I was American.
Yeah, I thought you were American, and then. But how was your English? Was your English good, or was it intermediate level? What sort of level were you?
It wasn't sharp. It was a bit stuttery, but I think now I've got the hang of it.
Okay, cool. And how did you cope with the studies there? I mean, obviously the studies are quite different there than they are here in Brazil.
Yeah.
So what were the studies like? Did you understand the teachers? Tell us about it there.
So the studies were very different. There they were much more complex and intellectual. Here studies are very they're easier on the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Antonio, what was it like in the schools there? So how different were the schools in England to the schools here in Brazil?
So schools in England were very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they were much more strict and ruled.
Okay.
Yes.
So, explain to me what do you mean by strict and ruled? What was different from the strictness here and the strictness there?
So strictness here is more like you get your grade down and you get just sent to the principal's office.
Okay.
Then punishments were very, very imposed and very scary to have to.
Okay, so give me an example. It sounds like corporal punishment where they whip you or
something. No, they don't whip you.
Oh, okay. So what did they do? What sort of punishments did they give you?
They took away your lunch break, for example.
Oh, really? So you went hungry?
No, you didn't. go hungry. You just they brought you the food there.
Oh, okay. So you had to go. What did you go to a room?
A room, yes.
Okay, room. And what happens? You have to sit there for an hour.
For an hour.
Okay, and so that prevented you from mixing with the other kids
Yes.
and having a little bit of free time to not be, studying all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was the sort of punishments that you had. So no whips.
No whips. Yeah.
Okay.
But we did have writing punishments as well.
Oh, writing punishments. So explain that. What was a writing punishment?
If you were sent to detention too many times, you got a type of punishment where you went back after school.
Okay.
So you just copy down a journal page.
Oh, really? So like copy out a whole journal page,
Yes.
like a newspaper.
Yeah, like a newspaper.
Oh, really? How boring.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's a good punishment not to do it again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What about the different type of classes? Would you say that the classes that you had in England, did you have a bigger variety of classes than you have
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a very big variety of classes.
So what sort of classes were you offered there? So can you tell me
We
something
were often,
different?
DT, which is design technology.
Okay.
So you could craft things, you could bake things, you could make handwork with wood, with iron.
So you did metal work and
woodwork, yeah.
Okay, cool. So how did that work? I mean, what sort of things did you make while you were there?
So we made a pendant.
A pendant?
Yes.
Okay, like a thing to go around
Yeah,
your
like
neck.
a pendant. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What did you make out of that? Out of metal or wood?
Out of an alloy.
An alloy. Oh,
Yes.
okay, cool. So you actually made something that you could, like a form of jewellery, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We melted the iron and then we just pour it
Into the cast?
The cast, yes.
Okay,
we
cool.
made it on casts. It was
Yeah.
a very fun time.
Can you tell me about what other subjects were that you were offered there that you don't have
We
here?
had drama, we had
Drama,
music, we had
music, okay.
we have art here actually.
Yeah. So drama and music, you don't normally get it in the schools
No,
here. Okay.
I don't think in the school I go to doesn't offer.
Okay.
those
All right. Cool.
courses.
So you do theatre.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
But-
Did you participate in any productions?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
One.
So what did
A
you
very
do?
big production in my school.
Yeah. What was that?
It was Oliver Twist.
Ah, Oliver
Yeah.
Twist. So you got to sing and dance
Yeah.
and act and
Act, yeah.
Yeah.
All of that thing.
Oh, cool. Do you think that helps you to be able to get over the fear of talking in front of other people? Do you think?
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did theatre in England for 15 years,
Yeah.
and that was one of my favourite pastimes. It was my hobby,
Yeah.
and I loved theatre. It was amazing, amazing feeling.
It's-
And you had that same feeling as well.
Yes, it's a pity drama is not in the school schedule here.
Do you think it would be something that would benefit the students here if you did something
Yes.
like that?
Because it opens your mind and it releases a bit of the pressure from other subjects
Okay.
and the stress and all of that. Yeah.
And any other subjects that you studied there that you don't do here?
I don't remember.
Music, maybe?
Music, yeah. We in some schools here they have music, but most
okay.
of them don't.
All right. And what do you learn to play instruments, or what do you learn in the music
We learned
classes?
a bit of music theory and we learned a bit of how to play instruments and participate in a band and
Really?
group work. Yeah, it was very fun.
Cool. Did you make your own band?
Yes, we did actually.
Okay.
We made a band and we also had clubs after school in school. That's something Brazil doesn't offer.
Offer. So,
Yeah.
like, what sort of clubs did you have after school?
So we had for example, an orchestra.
An orchestra club. Okay.
I participated in the orchestra.
Okay.
yes.
What can you play?
I can play the bass guitar.
Oh, the plays guitar. Very
Yeah.
cool. So you're gonna like.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what else? What other after-school clubs are there available?
They had badminton, they had football, they had basketball, they had sports in general.
Right. Okay.
Yes, they also had reading clubs, they had Spanish clubs for languages.
Wow. So
Yes.
so it's very quite organised,
Yes.
quite different to here in Brazil. Okay.
Yes, quite wide because children spend more time there in school.
Okay. Cool.
But I think one positive thing about is the education here in Brazil is the interactiveness you have with the teacher.
Yeah.
Here, teachers are much more pertinent and fun to have classes with. Teachers would be more closed and more personal.
Okay, a bit more like strict with
yes,
you.
and
Okay, so you can't really have this sort of like, oh, hello, Michael, or something like that. You have to call them sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's quite.
It's a one-to-one.
Okay,
it was very formal when you addressed to a teacher.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So it's quite different in the context. Maybe it's a cultural thing.
I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think though that having it a little stricter, do you think you learn more, or do you think it's a little better?
I think you learn how to you're self-conscious of your acts because you think of the consequence. So, for example, if I write something on the wall, I'm gonna think, oh wow, I can go to detention, and then I can have my lunch taken out here. It's much more. You can talk to people and try to make your way out of that bad situation.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, all right. This is a little different.
Yeah.
All right. What about food? How different was food for you?
Food. They're very different. Brazilian food is amazing. It's
okay.
delicious. It's one of the best.
So the food here in Brazil, I must admit, is way better than English food.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think one of the most typical plates in England was mashed with pies. Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potato, like with
pie. With a pie.
A pie?
Yeah.
Okay, like a chicken pie?
Chicken pie.
Beef
vegetable
pie. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very typical heavy sort of lunchtime food that we used to have in England.
A lot of sauce as well. They use.
Yeah. Gravy.
Gravy.
Okay. Cool.
A lot of Indian cuisine as well.
Indian cuisine.
Yeah.
So, like, Indian food, believe it or not, curry is actually Britain's national dish now.
Yes.
Even though British aren't Indian, but over the last sort of 40 years, 50 years, it's become very popular. Indian dish. So it's become a national dish. Okay, cool.
I think
did you like Indian food?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Why? What's wrong with it?
I think it's too spicy for my taste.
Oh, okay.
I know some people like very spicy food, but for me, I didn't like it. But I think the most traditional English dish was the fish and chips.
Fish and chips?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the other national dishes that we have in England. Very popular with people. Fish and chips is very nice. Cotton chips.
Yes, we had fish and chips every Friday in school.
Oh, every Friday in school. Okay.
So lunch queues are a mess on Fridays.
Well, you're talking about that. So you actually had lunch at school and not at home. So how does that work? So what time did you start school? What time did you have lunch? And what time did you go home?
My tutor lesson, which is a lesson I have with the class coordinator, we had it every day at a 20-minute lesson until from 8:50 to 9:10.
Okay.
Yeah, so school started there at 8:50, so you had to be there.
8:50, and what time did you have lunch?
We had 1:30 to 2:30.
Okay, and then what time did you go home?
Yeah, 3:10.
3:10.
Yeah.
So 2:30 to 3:10. So you only had one lesson in the afternoon before you went home.
Yes, one lesson. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So do you think that sort of time, 8:50 till 3:15 or 3:10? Did you say?
Yeah.
Half past 3?
3:10.
3:10.
Yeah.
So do you think that period of time is a good time for going to school? Or do you think like you going to school earlier and finishing earlier, or going to school later and finishing later? What do you think?
I don't know. I think the way it is there, it's you spend more time in school, so you learn more. I think lessons were 1 hour long.
All right.
Yes.
So the lessons were more complicated, would you say? More complex?
They weren't more complex, but they were much more writing and much more heavy on the brain, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right. A little different.
A little different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. So, what about the cultural side of things? How different was it, to be able to be around other people, and was it quite difficult for you in the beginning?
So in the beginning, it was very like a culture shock.
Right.
Because people just came to me and asked, "Oh, you're the new guy. Where are you from?" England has a lot of immigrants.
Right,
From
yes, that's true.
all around the world. So no one was actually from England. So most people were from other countries in Europe or in the world. So
So you actually went to a multicultural school. You didn't actually go to like a typical normal school there. You went.
no.
Okay.
It was a typical normal school, but most of the students were
Foreign.
foreign. Yeah.
Okay. Did you think that helped you to settle in a little better?
Yes, it did, because they all understood what I was going through
Okay.
in the process of just getting used to England.
Right.
And then they helped me, like some helped me to get the food the first day, and then they helped me to do homework because it was very different.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Antonio, what about the weekends? What did you do at the weekends when you were away from school?
So during the weekends, me and my family, we went to parks. We went to very traditional English places.
Okay. So, what do you mean by traditional English
Like
places?
pubs and
A pub. Okay.
and exhibitions, art exhibitions.
I like museums and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
museums. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you think that's quite different to here?
Yes.
You know what?
British culture is very strong, in a sense. 'Cause
Okay.
everything is important there. Everything is treated as important. There's nothing higher, nothing lower. So I think the hierarchy of importance of cultural, I think, quote unquote, happenings.
Okay.
In a sense, they're they're treated much more importantly.
Oh, okay.
I think.
All right. So do you think that that having this culture, a sort of a culture immersion, changed you in any way?
It changed me a bit, because I saw the world with different eyes. Because before I thought the world was just from Brazil, but then I saw the world was a much bigger place, and everything was very old.
Very old.
Yeah.
Including the teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We had some old teachers.
Some of the
as well.
teachers are a little old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine the old sort of like old teacher.
Yeah. We had Miss O'Sullivan. She was very
Miss O'Sullivan.
She was our RE teacher.
Your RE teacher?
Yes.
What is RE?
It's religious education.
Religious education.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think religious education is important in schools?
I went to a Catholic school, so
okay.
you didn't have to be Catholic, but you had to believe in God.
Oh, okay.
In a sense, yeah.
Right. Okay. And so did that give you a sort of basis for the way you were at school? Do you think?
I think so, because everything was like mannered by God, and how He treated us. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
it was very cool.
Different.
Very different.
Very different.
Here,
Okay.
religious schools are much more difficult, I think, to find.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but
I remember when I was at school, we had RE as well, religious education, and it was quite interesting how we were taught about about the Bible and stuff like that, and it wasn't forced upon you, but it gave you some sort of basis to respect others.
Yes.
And to do the right thing, and I think it's very
basically
important.
a history lesson,
Yeah.
but with moral consent as well.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
true. That's very good. Okay, what about friends? Did you make a lot of friends
Oh
there?
yeah, I made a lot of friends there.
Okay, and was it difficult to make friends? in
Yeah,
England?
very difficult in the beginning.
Okay, why?
But then,
Explain.
because in the beginning I was very new,
Yeah.
and my English wasn't very good.
Okay.
But then I got the hang of it. I started making more friends, and yeah, I think I got a good amount of friends.
Okay. So did you have some photographs with your friends and stuff like that?
I don't think I have.
No?
I can.
You can have a search.
Yeah.
Or maybe we might be able to put them on the video so we can
Yeah.
show the people some of the things
Okay.
that you did there. Okay, and right. What about the weather? That must have been a bit of a shock, huh?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest shocks.
Okay, so tell me about the weather. What's it like in England when
Yeah.
you were there? So
The weather is very tempered in a
Okay.
sense. So every season is marked by a different weather. For example,
Right.
so in the winter it's very cold. It snows.
Okay.
It's very dry. In the spring, the flowers come out.
Okay.
The sun is shining. It rains a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, in the springtime it rains out a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
and autumn as well.
In the autumn, what is it like? How different is autumn in Brazil to England?
Autumn is very different because here in Brazil, in the autumn, it just usually gets dry and it just rains a bit.
Okay.
There, all the leaves fell. It started getting a bit colder and darker as well.
Okay.
The clouds were more frequent.
Okay, so it rained a lot more.
Yeah,
There.
it rained a lot more.
Well, we've always been known as the rainy country.
It rained in all seasons.
Yeah.
And the weather is shady in all seasons, but it's mainly on autumn because on winter it's very dry. So then almost no clouds.
Okay. What about Christmas time, and how different is Christmas in England to here in Brazil?
Christmas in England is very movie-like.
Movie-like?
Yes.
So explain. What do you mean
It's
by
very what we see in other movies from outside Brazil. It's exactly like that because it snows. Families are united. Everyone is happy. It's a good time. It's a jingle time.
Okay. So, what about? Did you put up a tree? Did you have dinner with all the family and that sort of thing?
During Christmas, we had a break, and in those breaks, I spent one of those breaks where I lived there in some friend's house.
Okay.
And in the other break, I spent here in Brazil. Actually, I
came back.
Came back to visit.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
All right. And did you miss Brazil a lot when you were first there?
Yes, a lot. I was very homesick.
Okay. So, how difficult was it for you to get used to the change from moving to England for the first few months? How difficult was it for you to get used to?
It was very difficult, actually. So for the first few months, I was getting used to the culture there, with the food, with the driving way.
The way to drive, because it's on the opposite side.
It's on the opposite side.
So
I had to look on the opposite side of the road.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
It was very difficult. The weather as well. We had to put a lot of jackets to
keep warm.
Keep warm, and
it's very cold there, and especially in the winter. I mean, it's like about 3 or 4 degrees in the winter there, and sometimes below zero, depending on when. If there's a lot of snow, it gets really cold.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me what do you think was the best thing you liked about being in England?
So the best thing I liked about England was the organization of the country, how organized it is.
Okay.
Everything was very planned, and school was very organized. Police was very organized.
Okay.
Every aspect of living there was organized.
So so you felt a lot more secure, would you say?
A lot more secure, yeah.
Okay, you're not worried about being robbed every time you go around the corner and your bike's stolen or something like that. Yeah. Okay. But what about the things did you miss the most about being away from Brazil? What did you miss the most?
My family.
Okay.
My grandparents, my uncles, my aunties.
Yeah. Okay.
I also missed a lot the weather, the food. I missed, those aspects
things
of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that the culture in England it's quite different? Like for families, are they very close in England or are they quite distant compared to here?
So families in England, they are very. What can I say? How can I say that? They're very separated. I mean, most grandparents and most
uncles and aunts.
Uncles and aunts. Most grandparents and most uncles and aunts, they live in the countryside or in not in the same city as the actual
rest of the other family.
The rest of the family. So the only times they actually meet is Christmas, Easter. Very festive times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so that was quite different for you, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's not like here in Brazil. It's definitely not like that. Here in Brazil, everybody knows.
Yes.
All the family are always together, always doing something. whether it be a party or just meeting up at the weekend to have a barbecue. Which is so different. In
different.
England we just don't do that. You're lucky if you can do barbecues a year in England. Here it's like every weekend. Okay, thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you liked, and I want to give a big thank you to Antonio for having this interview with us, telling us about what it was like to live in England and for the last 2 years, the cultural difference and how things were there. If you have any questions or any opinions that you'd like to leave in the comments, please do so. Also, I'd like you to like and subscribe on this video, and I look forward again to see you next week. Take care.